Hey, what's up, people of the world? I'm back with my third video. This is video number 3. So anyway, just like I explained the origin of existence, the mother in heaven, the shadow, she's also known as Lucifer. Why do you think that you hear that Lucifer is the light bearer and the wisdom bearer? Because she had the heavenly children with the Father in heaven, the dark. She gave birth to the light and the wisdom. Yep. So that's why she's also called the light bearer, light bringer. So I'm just letting you know that, guys. Yep, there's many things I'm going to teach and expose in this reality. I want people to know life is not hard. It's only as hard as you make it. I understand the circumstances that every individual is born into. But just be in mind, just do what you know you can do. And do not worry, because worrying gives birth to resentment and defeat. You can only be your worst enemy or your best friend. You can either be one or the other. For chaos is controlled substance. Chaos is not meant to be equal to peace or above peace, but to be controlled by peace. Understand that, right? Why do you think in reality, when a man matures, he controls his ego counterpart within him? The ego counterpart, our shadow mind. Because our man's mind is made up of 4 components. Dark, shadow, light, wisdom. Yep, just like how existence is set up. Now, a man within himself, which you can see on the outside of him, if a man is unbalanced, it's because his second mind's either above his first mind, or his second mind is equal to his first mind. But the reality, the first mind is supposed to be in full control of his second mind, in order for the man to be perfectly balanced, to be in his right state of mind. For example, the X chromosome that we men have, and the Y chromosome we have, the X chromosome is a female counterpart to us within us, and the Y chromosome is our void counterpart. All human females and females in general are the physical embodiment of our X chromosome. They're what our ego looks like in physical form. When you look at a woman, you're looking at the ego in human form. I'm just letting you know that. So anyway, now back to what I was saying about the self-control thing. In order for man to be fully controlled, fully mature, he must control his ego side like it was meant to be controlled. The ego is in, don't get the wrong idea, the ego is part of creation. The necessary evil is part of creation. The shadow is part of creation. It was meant to be controlled. It's not supposed to be competing with your logic mind or above your logic. It's supposed to be controlled under the logic mind. It's supposed to be fully under it. So yeah, so everything we humans do is just a repeat of what God did, up in the heavens. For example, there was a point in time where Lucifer, or the shadow, wanted to be equal or above the dark. She was the most popular female in heaven. So what did the original male do? The original male cast his ego counterpart to our lower position in heaven. Yep. So thus humbling, where humbling comes from. So when a man humbles himself, when a man becomes mature, he casts the ego side of him within himself to a lower position. And by then, us as men have matured. And that's what that's based off of. When we cast your ego down, it's based off the creator casting his ego counterpart down. That's right. Because like I said in my last video, that whatever happens on earth, I meant to say, whatever happens in heaven manifests on earth. Because earth is the last realm of existence. Everything is connected. Like, where did war originate from? Why does war happen on earth among animals and humans? Because it happened in heaven first. Oh yeah, it wasn't just the original female getting cast to a lower position by the original male, and she had supporters, followers. There are heavenly beings that made bad decisions over time that had nothing to do with the uprising. They just did things that were forbidden in different time periods. That's why they were cast to a lower position. So some heavenly beings were punished for different reasons. Just like how in society a human being can be bad at any moment and be put in jail. This happens in heaven all the time as well. So yeah. So that's why all of that happens like that. So yeah. So whatever happens in heaven comes to earth. Yep. Everything you know as sin, whatever people call bad doing, where everything you can think of, good and bad, happened in heaven first. Just speaking about the reality of what goes on. So, and I'm going to expose all the lies that the religious system teaches people on earth. Because remember, all the religions of the world system work for the government. Yep. Anything spirituality has to have any origin in human society, human origins. For example, the Catholic Church made up the starting point of all the religions. Religion is used to control people and strike fear into the masses. There's a lot of stuff that's been lied throughout history that people gotta wake up from. Like, for example, the Catholic Church made up the term hell to scare the masses to buy their way into heaven. Spend money, all that. I'm saying that's an example of the origin of one of the lies. For hell doesn't exist. Hell is they replaced the word the grave with hell. But yeah, it's when the person dies, it's really just ceasing to exist, because a human being, a living being in general, not just humans, every being, even spirits, they're made from the combination of the breath of life and the substance their body is made out of. And when at death, the breath of life in the body separates, and in that very moment, the living being ceases to exist. It goes back to the void. So I'm just letting you know. So when a person without the breath of life, any being goes back to the substance they're made up of and return to the surrounding environment. When a heavenly being dies, their light body goes back to the surrounding heaven. Angels, gods, goddesses. When they die, their body goes back to the materials made up of. And the breath of life goes back to the dark. So, same thing with humans. When a human dies, their body goes back to the surrounding 7 elements of the earth. Like the stuff our bodies take it from. Our hair is from grass. Our bone is from stone, marrow. Our body, our skin is from the earth egg, which is the dust or the mud. And yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. And the breath of life goes back to the dark. So I'm just letting people know the reality. So dying means to cease to exist, to disappear. People also think heaven's the afterlife, but the heaven is not the afterlife. Heaven's just the upper world beyond the firmament of the earth. Yep. And there are spirits living on earth with us, but they were never human. They're just a different species of beings made up of a different substance that we can't perceive, because there are things that's beyond the human eyes, the sense, and the hearing, or what we can perceive or hear. So just letting you know that, okay, people of the world system? I'm going to expose every lie that's been told to us human beings, throughout the ages. You know what I'm saying? That's right. No. Not every human is born... Oh, another lie to expose. Not every human is born unperfect. That's a lie too. What does perfect mean? Perfect means that you are who you are. You're being your natural self. So anyone who's not perfect makes himself not perfect. Basically trying to be something you're not. So that's what I want to talk about. So just be aware of I promise over the course of my videos, I'm going to mention everything. I'm going to expose all the lies. I'm going to expose the truth about how the earth and the creation really looks. I'm gonna mention everything. But it's gonna be over time. I'm not gonna say everything in one video because there's too much to mention. So that's why this is gonna be a year's kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna mention everything. So anyway, to put it short, oh yeah. So in closing, I want to mention the 2 types of humans, right? So people don't. I don't want people to think they're bad just for being human, because when they say that humans are bad by nature, they lie to you. The people in power, the people who give churches permission to open up their churches and open up their churches, but only under the condition that they speak their way instead of the reality. So I'll just say, I will close the video off with this. All right. Just know that just like there are humans who are born naturally good, there are humans who are born naturally evil. A person's nature is dictated based on how their DNA is written, their genetic code, their genetic makeup. So I'm letting you people know that there's 2 types of humans. Every realm has good and bad in it. Every species has good and bad in it. There are people who are born evil by nature, and there are people who are born good by nature. So yeah, one of my future videos, I'm going to be speaking more on that subject about those who are naturally bad and naturally good. So that way people can understand the reality of the 2 and not be confused by the stuff they hear growing up that's based off lies, basically. So anyway, this is my 3rd video, and I'm glad to mention this, so bear with me, man. I'm gonna reveal everything in time. Peace.